Yeah.
So I got an interview out of that last night.
Welcome to the AppSecEU 2014 Chapter Leaders Workshop. My name is GK Southwick, and I am the Community Manager for the OWASP Foundation, and I will be your host for today. This will be a roundtable discussion. So basically, if you have any questions, please use the Q&A function from Google+. Ask your questions, and we will pose them to the other chapter leaders here in the room, live in Cambridge, and we'll see if we can get you the answers that you need. You'll have to pardon me. I'm going to be walking out of the room quite often. I have a pretty bad head cold. So I will have, if I have to walk out, I'll have somebody else come over and check the screen for questions. So I guess we're live. We're recording. So what other, besides trying to get that off the ground and it not working?
Around reimbursement.
Okay.
Now, I had this event in October. I kind of asked for reimbursement late because one of the sponsors failed to make the payment, so I took it on my credit card for the coffee and biscuits and stuff like that. And I've been kind of lazy and busy, both. So I went back in April for reimbursement, and I was kind of told, well, try to keep it below 3 months, because otherwise we won't make any reimbursements. So they introduced a new rule on the spot, and it would be good to know. So if you organize an event, make sure you look for any reimbursement in 3 months, otherwise.
Well, it is clearly stated that if you need reimbursement, you need to ask prior.
Okay.
So you need to make a request saying, I'm throwing this event and I have so much money and I'm going to need so much money. Do we have the money in the budget?
Yeah.
And then we
It
will.
wasn't the case. We had the money in the budget, so it wasn't any issue with the budget. It was the case that the sponsor said, look, I'm going to contribute with 300 euros and I cover the coffee, biscuits, and tea for the event.
Okay.
It turned out the sponsor never made that payment. And I think it was one of those issues. The guys are based in Ireland. They had to sign a contract with the guys in States for the sponsorship. And it was some miscommunication between these two parties, and the guy never paid him.
Okay.
So I was like, fine, I'm going to pay my.
You need to mute yourself. Pretty bad feedback. Up at the very top of the screen?
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, great. Thank you.
So for me, it was the case. Fine, the event took place. 1 week later, the service provider came and said, "Well, who's going to pay for the services?" I heard nothing from the announced sponsor, so I'll pay with my own credit card. And after that, I was literally lazy to make the claim. So it was my fault, most of it, I guess.
Okay, but you have the money in the chapter funds?
Yes.
Okay.
It wasn't an issue of having no money and asking for something which wasn't announced before.
Oh, then there shouldn't be an issue.
No, it wasn't an issue. It was just I wasn't aware that it has to be done under 3 months, and they kind of made the rule on the spot saying, well, next time when you do this, look, we announce a new rule. You have to make a reimbursement request in 3 months after.
Within 3 months.
If you don't do that, we don't consider it.
Okay.
So these are kind of things you discover when you organize things first time, and you go into these issues with collecting payments and stuff like that. So there are things which you think they're supposed to work because other chapters are doing it, but when you try it, they kind of half work. So
right.
It's kind of.
Okay. Fair enough.
Can I just get some quick clarification on the donation process? So if someone donates to our chapter, this must be somewhere that I've read and forget about it. Does it all go to us, or does it go back to the foundation?
If they donate to your chapter, it goes to you.
Well,
Yes. Yeah, if they make a donation to the chapter, that goes to the chapter. That money is allocated where they say where they tell us they want to put their money. So it either goes to the chapter or the project or what, yes, but if they earmark it for your chapter, it goes to your chapter. It does not come, we don't split it with you on that, in that case.
That makes the case of sponsors for smaller events. So it's not an AppSec, it's a smaller type of conference, it's kind of local.
Right.
I had plans to use the button on the screen, which was for the chapter. So for each chapter, you have a button for donations. And I was told, no, use something different. So again, one of those things. I have something there. Why I can't use whatever the organization provides me with the button for donation for the chapter, for this event? Why do I have to advise people? And they're asking me, which button should I use? The one on the chapter list, or is anything else to make the donation as a sponsor? They were asked to do the donation via the web. And they were told to use a different system for donation. So probably a bit of clarifications for how to process the sponsorship via donations. It's required.
Right. Well,
I don't know, just for the sponsorship, we have now Qualis as a sponsor for our local chapter, and they use directly to donate.
right.
And
Yeah.
And the money goes to you, yeah?
Yeah, and it was fine. I think there are two different processes for just donation, and if there is an event involved, there is something else.
Right.
It's
So,
probably the
if they're just donating money to your chapter, they can use a donate button. If they want to sponsor OWASP in general and split the money between a project and your chapter and the foundation, then they need to go through our the membership coordinator, through Kelly Santa Lucia. She's the one who handles memberships, because that would qualify as a membership, not just as a donation, because they'd be getting sponsor recognition. Forgive me if I'm totally putting my foot in this. Bahrain is part of the UAE, yeah? No? So what city? No, I think it was, what city in Bahrain is your chapter? Because I'm not finding you on the list.
What city?
Yeah. Or is that, or what?
The country is smaller than Manchester.
Yeah, I know it is. Why aren't you on the list of?
I mean, it's just you just find the country name. You won't find the.
Well, I'm looking at available chapter funds, and I'm not seeing anything for you for a budget, which is why I'm asking.
Yeah.
I wouldn't find you under anything else, though, right? It should be under Bahrain, and it's not.
Yeah. So currently, I don't have any funding.
Oh, you have nothing. You have nothing in your budget. Okay.
It's probably another question. Would it be a good idea to have, new chapters being given a default type of budget, kind of €100, dollars, something to at least to have the first meetings?
Yes, actually, that's something that we have started doing. Apparently, I'm not exactly sure what the dollar amount on that is, but there should, if you can make a request, I think it's up to 500. I think you can request up to $500 to start your chapter to get.
Okay, but you have to make that request. So if you're not aware, it's kind of, you have to read the handbook.
Yeah, you need to read the handbook.
Yeah.
But you sign paper, say that you read the handbook.
Well, this probably is one of the showstoppers in some cases, because people are saying, fine, we create a chapter, and then they realize, well, if you want to organize a small event, if you want to go to some place, and you even have to buy tea and biscuits for the people, you have to put money from your own pocket, and they kind of say, well, I really want to do this long term.
Right.
So probably until the chapter matures, there is a bit of support required. And then when you start organizing bigger events, you can charge, you bring in sponsors. So probably a year, 2 years later, you have something in budget. But until then, it's kind of survival mode. You can't do anything because you have nothing.
Right, well, I mean, that's the whole point is once you start the chapter, you find a sponsor to sponsor the venue and possibly sponsor the food, right? Or both, or you pay a venue fee, but the sponsor sponsors the food. And you get speakers that will come in, and local speakers that will speak for free until you get the chapter built out, and then you can start inviting speakers in from other areas.
This is my current situation. That's what I'm not complaining or anything. Just saying. So,
But we have nothing to start with?
yeah, I'm in this space.
Okay. Well, have you put in a request for funds?
Yes, I did. But I think, well, I'm encouraged to actually look for sponsors before taking funds out of OWASP for meetings. At least that's what I got from the response, which I totally agree with.
Okay. Was it me that responded, or was that before I started?
Oh yeah, it's you.
It is me?
Yeah, I forgot.
Okay. That was actually before they told me that I had chapter funds to give to new chapters. So, we could fix that.
You know, the one example was the reboot of the Romanian chapter, which one is leading. So at that time, she said, fine, we want to organize an event. It would be nice to have some OWASP materials. So it's not like you need money to pay for food or anything like that. It's just, to get a tablecloth and things like this to show that you're part of an organization and
Right.
have a brand.
Yes?
Or even some free materials, printed OWASP top 10 or something like that. Just a couple of freebies. If you don't have nothing to start with, it's difficult. Even to start to organize an event and bring people and start doing the awareness. So even having 10 books on the table, don't give it away. Just keep it there and show it to the people. This is the printed thing. If you want it, you can download it. But it does good for the chapter.
Right.
Because you have something to show. It's not like you go into a room, into a pub and have a chat about OWASP and what do you do, but you have nothing to show.
Okay, so for the OWASP top 10, they have it in a EPUB form?
I'm aware, they're all there.
So you can use the outreach funds to have them printed out, or you can get them shipped from the US, but then they're going to cost you 4 times as much because we have to ship them from the US.
Yeah.
As far as the tablecloth and stuff like that goes, Martin actually has those here in Europe, so when you need to borrow them for a European event, you can...
That's the thing, Martin was traveling with the tablecloth and said, look, I'm coming, I bring the tablecloth, I bring everything. But it's kind of, until you make that connection with other leaders, you realize you're kind of on your own.
David, your request, I had it for Turkey and other countries that they were contacting, I thought it was before you, Kelly, Kate, and they say, hey, look at Martin here and stuff. I sent it through a company.
Yeah.
That's really works well through the proxy, except Laura, I think she was not today, but she's not in that. So it worked for Kelly and Kate, of course.
But even having this in the...
Hello? Yeah, of course. Please. Could I ask that you sit on this side of the room though, because of the directional microphone? That way it'll be part of the conversation.
Even having it as a small section in the chapter handbook saying, look, if you are new to this, you want to start, you don't know what to do, you need a bit of support, we are here to help. Having some links there saying, look, what exactly do you need to start the first meeting? You want a tablecloth, you want some printed material, let us know and we'll help you. Sometimes you don't even know who to ask. And you realize, fine, if I go there, I have nothing in the room, kind of friendly chat, but about what we want to achieve, not necessarily what OWASP is.
Okay.
So it helps to give people an idea about what OWASP does. When you have the printed material, they flick through it, and they are then and there. Don't tell them, go home, download the PDF and have a look at it. Because that's the moment you actually get them as followers and contributors to OWASP, because they see the material, they see it's good for them, and they have an interest. If you tell them, fine, thank you very much for coming, you go home, you download all the materials, and next time you can come back and contribute if you want. You kind of lose probably half of them, because they say, well, I don't know what this is about,
No, I
I
understand.
don't have enough time.
But as I'm saying is the EPUB, you can print out copies. You bring it to a local printer, or instead of having it shipped from overseas and paying, because if the OWASP top 10 costs $10, it'll cost $15 if I ship it to you.
Okay, yeah.
right? But if you get it printed here, it'll only cost you $7 to print, and then you can have it for.
I think the Lulu thingy, the Lulu shop.
Yeah.
In the shops, you pay print price, shipping price for a plastic guide, you pay 8 something euros.
Mm-hmm. It's a good price. I used it before.
Sorry?
I used it before, so it's a good price.
So as far as what was I going to say? I just lost my train of thought.
Definitely, I will do something like this.
Rewriting the chapter handbook. This is exactly what I'm talking about. I need the chapter leader's input. What do you need to see in the handbook? What is not in there that you need? As far as reaching out, though, that's what the chapter leader's mailing list is for.
Yeah.
I mean, you're automatically signed up for that list when you made a chapter leader, so there's no reason why you can't drop an email to the list saying, hey, how have you guys done this in the past?
Yeah.
But I do agree that there's no reason why there shouldn't be a page in the chapter leader handbook that has links to everything that you need. I just need to know what you need in there.
Yeah. Honestly, we need to know if we read the chapter handbook.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Okay, I mean, anybody can check that box saying they read it.
I did.
I'm sure they did.
Bits and pieces.
Anytime somebody wants to open a new chapter, I send them a page of all the links, and then I need, here's one of the chapter leader handbook, here's one of this, here's how to start a chapter, here's, there's like 5 links, and each link gives you a page that has like 20 links on it. It's 20 pages deep. I said, please read through all of this before you decide you want to start a chapter. It's not as easy as just saying, oh, I'm going to be a chapter leader.
The thing is, after reading all that material, well, all the joy is gone. It's too much trouble.
Oh, it's work.
Actually, this is not the joy, this is the hard work.
Yeah.
And you should allocate your time, really, if you want to become real chapter leader. Okay.
And,
You should allocate, I think, 1 to 2 hours each week just for a chapter.
I think that's kind of.
that's minimal. You probably want to do more of that. And another thing, I have a lot of people who apply to be a chapter leader by themselves. They don't have a committee to work with. They don't have 2 or 3 friends that want to help them run this chapter. That's a lot of work for one person. It's too much work for one person. Well, you've been running a chapter for so long at this point, Martin, that it's like second nature for you. But for somebody new, starting out a chapter, they really should, having a couple other volunteers that will help you run every meeting.
Building a network is key.
Yes.
So you do maybe else yourself, but I don't know what you have. My main problem is finding speakers.
Yes, exactly. And I was still thinking that maybe we should exchange maybe speakers where within close countries.
Yeah.
Especially in Europe, when we have cheap flights and stuff like that.
There's something called more force on the move. I don't know.
Yes.
I don't recall the new name. Sorry.
Community funding.
Community funding. I don't. It's not the same
Community
thing.
funding initiative.
It's not the same thing. Community funding is not the same as force on the move.
Yeah.
Because the community funding funds community also move us located to move speakers from A to B.
Yes, but I think that the OWASP the Move project is that.
Yeah, they just probably renamed it to community funding. I think that's not right because community funding means what can be used for whatever. I need OWASP barbecue party. I need funding. That's this was also the move was created just and for the only reason to have speakers move from one chapter to another chapter.
Yeah.
I just say the community funding is very abstract, so it can be everything for the community. If I also move funds, the funds has been allocated for this only purpose to exchange speakers to other countries. And then I know that there has been made a request by a Scottish chapter to get a speaker who's excellent in German. And then I think it's very wrong of the staff requesting sponsoring by the German chapter, who the guy is German, but it's not in the German OWASP community. It's not known. It's not in the whole German. Then it was us staff, and they say OWASP Germany should sponsor it. I think we have the funds being allocated for traveling, and it's never the money is never used completely. And then they say, oh, the other chapter should pay it. That's really wrong. Yes, my opinion.
And the process of funding should be straightforward and simply to use. Because when it comes to money, I have constant problem with, my budget, where is my money, where I have money from our sponsors, local chapter supporters and stuff like that. For example, we have 4 companies which are supporting our Polish chapter.
Right?
And constantly, each year, I have a big problem with invoicing. That, I have to go through all the procedures which are not clear, and each year is something different. And it took me usually 1 to 3 months to get the invoice from OWASP. And nobody is tracking the payments. That's another thing that, I am sending, or you are sending as a OWASP invoice to the chapter supporter, and he's supposed to pay the invoice, yes? And nobody is tracking if the payment, actually is coming in, yes, and allocated to my budget. That's the problem.
Right. Well, Allison has actually, I don't know how long she's been with OWASP.
Oh, so
Yes, I know.
Oh, very long.
OWASP, really?
But I usually I am exchanging, I don't know, maybe 10 to 20 emails with her and other OWASP staff to get the money to my account, and all the process. I mean, invoicing, payment, and stuff like that. European VAT invoice, and
right.
blah 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 blah. It should be simple to use for me as a chapter leader, because I'm sorry, I don't have time for such a thing.
Yes, you're right.
And it should be very simple for OWASP supporters to. They should register themselves through the OWASP portal or something like that, and they should have invoiced automatically. Yes.
Right. Now,
It's simple to use as a piece of code. That's not a problem. Using the tools that OWASP already has.
I don't know why it doesn't work the way it should.
Yeah. Might be related to the fact that everything is
I
centralized.
think half a year ago, with this, problem that it should be simplified. Yes.
I'm not arguing that.
Next thing is that when I, bring the supporter to the chapter, the new supporter, next year I want them to pay
Again,
again.
right.
Yeah.
And then well, if it was a
And
hassle.
it should be next thing that should be done automatically. That OWASP should, send them an official letter or something.
Send them a
like that.
renewal.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Could we ask you to,
Right.
review? Yeah. Because local funding is quite important thing to running the chapter, to get the people around and to organize the events and stuff like that.
And I know you worked hard to get those sponsors, because
Yes, exactly.
convincing people to give you money is never easy.
Yes, and when there is a 3 months process to process the payment, sorry.
But you see, you have an option eventually. One thing I use with the company I'm working for, they regularly sponsor the local meetings.
Yes.
So I get free books paid by them. I have all the invoicing. I buy books from Amazon, but they are paying it for it, and I never put it as, into any records. As beside the presentation saying these things have been given, this is a record of the things we give away for free, but they were paid by the company. So I don't actually register with OWASP because it's too much trouble. It seems to me that it's too much trouble.
Yes, exactly.
So I prefer to work directly with the sponsor, saying, guys, you buy these books, I order it for you, I work for you, you pay me back for the things I'm paying with my own credit card, and then I'm giving it away at the local meetings.
Right.
And I don't put through the whole OWASP system because it seems to be a bit of pain.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
But again, these things are going unnoticed, right? So there is no official record of these guys sponsoring the events, other than having all the deals, which I never put it with OWASP.
Because they're paying it correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, do we want to have this covered as well by us? Because that will give probably a bit of an insight into how much of these local events are relying on their own relationships with various sponsors, literally bypassing the OWASP Foundation. So OWASP never sees these sponsors.
Right.
Because they are kind of small enough, 50 euros, 100 euros per event, buy a couple of free books, a couple of InfoSec books and give it away for free. And that's kind of, it motivates them because it attracts people, it's their name there as well on the slides. That's pretty much it. There is no other form of recognition. But again, if they exceed 500 euros, something like that per year, they become an official chapter sponsor. I have the bills to prove they exceeded that amount per year.
Yes.
If I really want to go through the pain of registering them and putting all the bills and all that through OWASP, probably not from what I'm hearing. Because again, every chapter leader is not doing this because has nothing else to do. We are pretty much working full time, and it's literally becoming a pain.
Okay.
So the more bureaucratic and more difficult the system becomes to use, it kind of puts us off saying, look, what's the point?
I understand. I don't know how things used to work. I know things have gotten a lot more convoluted, a lot more bureaucratic, as you say, in the past 2 to 3 years. Is that what, Martin? You've been chapter leader longest, yeah? Adrian?
Hi.
Hi. Could I ask that you sit up
Oh,
beside
on this side, yeah.
the microphone?
Yes, no problem.
Thanks.
Yeah, I think it's much more bureaucratic. Things like, before that, I do a lot of, we have a lot of security conference in the Netherlands, and I come there with OWASP to promote OWASP, so we have OWASP rockets, it's the best thing we have actually, and stuff like that. Before that, I just requested it, then George had a conference site, so it was easy, because I could at least buy the website, get the stuff, and that gets harder and harder, so there's so many irrelevant questions I fill out. All I want to say is, I have in this conference, I will represent OWASP, that many attendees, and I need this. That's all I want to say, and all over coming around and waiting for it, and then that's frustrating. Yeah. It makes it less and less fun to be always promoted because it's much more overhead for stuff so you're not interested.
The next thing, which is very, very bureaucratic or too bureaucratic for me, is the events which I am taking a part of the event as a OWASP chapter leader, because I'm invited to speak about OWASP or, I don't know, top 10 application security verification standard or something like that. And when this event is commercial, yes, according to chapter leader workbook, yes,
Handbook, yeah.
I need to ask OWASP Global if I can support this event. Yes.
Okay.
Because it's commercial one, and we are partnering, but it is not very official. They want just to have a OWASP logo on the conference site, and they want to have, and they want me or other OWASP members as speaker. That's all. But each time I need to officially ask for permission.
Not to speak at a conference. But yes, it's become more bureaucracy, and it's killing a lot of initiatives you just want to say, next week I have a conference, can you
Exactly.
speak? For example, I never asked for permission, maybe I am violating the chat handbook. We don't care because do it better for us. So, yeah, I think at the moment the staff or whatever organization are holding me back. I'm sorry, I have to say, I just ignore them.
For example, I think 2 months ago I was approached by organizers of HANA-Net project worldwide conference in Warsaw in Poland, that they want to partner with OWASP. But the conference was paid, was commercial, yes.
Okay.
So I forwarded them to OWASP Global, and they didn't manage to, to agree on simple things.
Yeah, I think someone came back saying you shouldn't pay really attention to these guys, that they don't seem to be serious or something like that,
Yeah.
as far as I remember. But opportunity for us to get involved with other.
Exactly.
There is an audience there which already subscribes. It's 100, 200, 300 people.
And that's really, that's the thing that really works in terms of promoting OWASP and tools and standards. For example, this year I was a speaker at a major Polish IT security conference, and I was talking about a new version of application security verification standard, and I was surprised that a lot of people on the conference knows very well what is the standard, and they are using this standard actively and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where is it?
I guess again we discovered a way of bypassing these rules, because in that case you go and you represent yourself. You are a security researcher and we are going to talk about OWASP. Officially you don't represent OWASP.
Yeah. You could.
Right.
But again, that might be a disadvantage for you, because if you want to really speak about OWASP and promote it, but you don't represent OWASP, they say, who are you? Yeah. If you're not an established security researcher, you might not have a reputation built yet. Kind of, yeah, you're coming from nowhere. You want to talk about OWASP. In what quality? In what position? They might be willing to take that, but if they don't see the support from OWASP officially, they say, well, fine, you might be a chapter leader, but you don't have the support to do this. Which is, again, it's kind of firing back on us.
So how could we streamline that though? If in order for them to take you seriously as a OWASP associate, they want the foundation to say, yes, we'll back them. But in order for you to get that, it means you have to submit to say, hey, I've been asked to speak.
Yeah.
So how do we?
No micromanagement. I think for me it's coming down that the staff, of course, is a responsibility, but it's very much the American style micromanagement. Like, I want to see what you want to do, then I approve it, then you can do it. We are all professionals. We all need to fail for.
I will argue that. You're not all professionals. I have problems with some chapters with doing things that are so out of the ordinary, it's not even funny. So we do have to micromanage to an extent to make sure that the OWASP name isn't being sullied.
But if you see the percentage, it's 98% being professional and doing the best. 2% maybe misbehaving. You are punishing and hurting 98% for the possibility of 2%. On risk management, it's like those who are proven or even did, there's no trust even when you did it for years to it right. Now you get more and more micromanagement, more. I understand that there has been problems with trust from my other role, I don't know what. But it's always, every company you have the chances, and there's much more people doing the right thing to benefit OWASP, and less people who are doing bad things. So now you're punishing and hurting the initiative of those who are doing right, because it's a small chance of people doing wrong.
So how do we fix that? Do we say that if you've been running a chapter for 3 years and we know that you've been running the chapter well and we've never had a complaint against your chapter, that you no longer need to ask permission?
No, you have to justify what you did for request money, but there's a certain sense of, like in companies, like, okay, to a certain amount is the budget you are regulating your own chapter budget, but not all chapters have easy with having income, so they have base budget. Because, okay, you do it, and you submit what you did and why. Then you can review it. If there's something in this thing, hey, it's okay, answer completely, I don't understand why is it done, and then you will see. And then if there's a case about abuse of brand, there's another channel we have to solve this. But you are killing the initiative and the drive of those who want to do good. Because when you want to do the good, you have to go all of the paperwork things you do. Like, I want to go there and promote OWASP. And I have to do all the days next to my day job, because everybody has a day job. Like, you know what? I'm not doing this because I can't handle this. So promote and help those who are willing to do is much better than hurting them. So it's a small change of the brand damage. Because brand damage we have ever since we existed. And they're really small. And that happened in Canada once, it happens everywhere once. It will happen if you're justified or not. That's not a problem for money. Nobody's abusing money really because they have to justify the money they spend. Maybe then afterwards they justify, maybe there's 10,000 euros spent, but you have gained so much more by enabling people. Money elsewhere. That's my point of view.
Yeah, I think we were talking at two different angles there. You're talking more about funds for the chapters.
Funds, initiatives, it's the same, because you have energy from the people who are doing work, right? It can be funds, it can be doing things, it can be talking to other communities. It makes me the difference. It's money for they want to do something, and the most people do it for the good. And we are killing this because of the overhead, because you need the official approval of why not giving trust to those who are giving time free in OWASP? And those 1 or 2% who are abusing it, they will get punished.
So maybe we should trust the leaders and somehow monitor what's going on.
Yeah, and then when something happens, we have the code, we have other ways, physical ways. You can report on the main list. Hey, he's not doing right, and then we can investigate and say what he did, why he doing it. Maybe it was not willingly damaging or abusing. Sometimes maybe it has, and then we can go to justified mitigations or I call it justified actions. But we are now killing the motivation of those who do good. That cannot be the right thing.
No, it's not.
So the 1%, 2% who are doing wrong, we can clarify and investigate afterwards. Do not kill the trust and give people, like, we are all adults. We all have a day job. And if they even signed for the chapter handbook. So, and then they're not sticking to it, you can tell them, hey, if you are said you would do the best for all, we think you haven't. Could you please justify? If they can't justify, then we can investigate to handle it afterwards. That's much more mature, much more healthy community than like putting everything down, micromanaging, like, oh, you're going over there, why are you doing this and that? You have to have this before. Because most things I get a week before. They say, hey, another speaker, it's cancelled. Can you speak in England and whatever? Yes, I go there whenever I can. And if I have to ask first, they will do check.
But again, we end up bypassing these things. So
Yes.
sometimes,
Sorry, Jonathan, you had your hand
Yeah,
up.
I was wondering what was actually the problem, because we are already free, like you seems to us. So are we proposing to have a new model and change the existing model? Because the existing model is like, actually, we are pronouncing right now, we are saying that we are actually stating that the model that we have right now is what we want. Because in my case, what Martin actually said was exactly how it works in Montreal. Like, I'm not asking OWASP Global really for anything except if I need some swag and money and stuff, because in Montreal we don't have yet the budget for it. But we don't ask them in order to make an initiative. Let's say that I will talk about OWASP in another organization. I don't have to ask anyone because, well, I'm the chapter leaders and like I'm the one who say, well, we can do that kind of stuff. And actually anybody can talk and will talk about OWASP, even if they are not leaders, because it's like open documentation and stuff. And many of the speakers talk that I see, they just reference OWASP. In my case, it was a full presentation on OWASP and also the top 10. But this doesn't need any approval from anyone, because like I would be giving the same talk if I weren't a chapter leader, you know. It's just because I know OWASP, and that's it. That's like the prerequisite of doing a talk. And this is not OWASP it's not like OWASP that has to regulate that. It's the people that ask me to go talk if I know what I'm talking about, because they will know as a conference, as an organization, if I know about OWASP or not. They will see my background, they will see that I work in application security and stuff, and they will see it better than you because they are local. And they see me running all around in Montreal and they say, yeah, that guy, you know him. But you at OWASP Global, you probably don't know me. Because, well, you don't see me going around. So that's why having like the global look upon what's happening local, it's much more like, yes, for the 2% that will screw it up, then you need to be there in order to identify him and make like an action. Because in OWASP, we can raise a flag, but nobody has real power to do an action. Because in my case, I saw other chapters that were abusing OWASP in kind of the way they were using the name and all that stuff, but no chapters meeting like for 5 years. But I don't have like the authority to do so, and I do think that this is the kind of stuff that OWASP Global might have. And so it's not really like to have people that will ask them for stuff, but it's an oversee on who is doing the wrong thing. And this, you gotta have metrics, and the only metrics you have is the complaints and the number of meeting and what is actually going on and advertised as asked in the chapter's handbook.
And unfortunately, even the metrics of following the chapter meetings is almost impossible now because so many people aren't using the wiki.
Yeah.
They don't actually update the wiki with their information. They might put a link to a meetup,
Yeah.
or they might put a link to Ning, right,
Yeah.
or some other system that they're using, or their Facebook page.
Yeah.
And then you go to their Facebook page and they haven't updated that in 3 years. But they
But
still
this-
say they're having meetings every
Yeah.
other month.
You have to prove it. You can say
Yeah.
that.
But how do they prove that? How I asked their list and nobody responds. How do
It's
I
easy.
prove it?
It's easy. You shut down any chapter that doesn't fill out the chapter form in the new website. In the new Salesforce system, we will have like a team, like a database, let's say, of all the chapters, right?
Right.
The chapter leaders. Then you just put a form and say this is the link that points to the meetup or the Eventbrite or the Facebook, and then for each chapter you have it and you review it. And if you don't have it, well, I'm sorry, but your chapter is like jeopardized, and we won't, like, we will harass you until you put the links, and that's it.
Could you use a metric?
Well, it's just a link that you copy paste, and that's it.
You probably have to publish the agenda. You can publish a link and go into your Facebook saying, yeah, I had a meeting and we discussed this and that, but if you have no agenda being discussed, how relevant is that for us? Normally I go to the weekend, I put this is the event,
Yeah.
it's clear
Mhm.
dates, clear time, this is the agenda, this
Mhm.
is a presentation coming out of that. Otherwise no one can reuse that information.
Exactly.
The scope is to contribute back.
How about measuring the number of people that have actually been to the event? Presumably we all use some form of mechanism for both advertising and for recording which delegates are signed up. Well, we tend to use SurveyMonkey, we might move for Eventbrite, I don't know at some point, but we, both from a university point of view, but who's on site for health and safety purposes, but also it's good for if we have a sponsor sponsoring sponsoring catering or something like that kind of thing. It's useful for us to know, so that's another form of evidence, so we have this number of attendees, this event, or for another.
Yeah.
But that's another attribute you can use for is the local chapter active.
Yeah.
Providing this to delegates.
But the reality is, you go there and you hand up a piece of paper and everyone signs up. They sign for the event, right? But you don't know who exactly comes on the day.
No, but
The reality is,
you've got some measure of this.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's not going to be perfect.
you collect the email addresses from these guys, and then you subscribe them automatically on the mailing list.
Yeah.
So if you have members in the mailing list, that kind of shows where if the member list grows kind of there, kind of it's an extra project.
Yes.
If there are no members and nothing happens,
You've got a metric, that's the important.
yeah. So probably we could use the mailing list for that.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you have no archive on the mailing list since the last 2 years, it's maybe there is maybe something wrong with the chapter because it's like the main outlet that we have, and this is another metric that you can use. But at the end, you have to consider that every local chapter they have their way of doing it, and they drop the wiki just because it was no use for them. It's like in New York, let's say they take Meetup and they do like biggest meeting, but they don't follow the OWASP rules on that because the rules actually states that you must put the thing that you do on the wiki, but they don't do it because they don't need it, and they have 300 people that comes to their meeting because it's on Meetup, so it doesn't serve any purpose. And that's what I was saying. The only thing that globally you need is the link really to the thing they are using, because this will vary in the country or even in the cities that you are. Like in Montreal, it's much more Eventbrite. It's a little bit of Meetup, and in some other cities, it's just Meetup, you know. But if you want to clean the chapter, it's just like you take those metrics and you check. Like if there's a chapter that hasn't any like mailing listing and no chapter meeting there, it's inactive.
Yeah, no, that's not really true.
No?
But we have here all the email addresses. What I did for the summit in 2011 and other things, I emailed all the chapters. I supplied Kate a list of all European chapters back then with the chapter leaders on the website who have our email address. email those. If they don't reply in a reasonable amount of time, like inside a week or 2 weeks,
Yeah.
then you can assume they are dropped.
Yeah, but what if you answer your emails, but no meeting has been done in the past 3 years?
And then you
see?
know, and then you have already 50% gone because 50% of the emails bounce and you don't reply.
Yeah.
And then will be the next thing, okay. I think actually it's also quite huge, and you shouldn't treat Europe completely different, but Europe itself should be self-maintaining. So I would actually vote to have like, it's not the right place, but okay, forget about it. It's not an idea. I'm sure, but I guess I also do. But what defines the we have to define what is the OWASP meeting.
Yeah.
Then let them prove that they did it.
Yeah.
Don't go after it. Like, okay, you have the OWASP meeting. When was the last one? Like, I go to Wiki. I can say, oh, the OWASP Wiki in the Netherlands. Or if they say you don't use the Wiki, why not? What do you use? And show me.
Yeah, but this I don't like for many reasons.
When they say, oh, we have one there and there, and you don't trust it, they have a list of attendees.
Yeah, but I really sorry, but I want to advise for like, let's say, an OWASP staff that goes head to head with a leader. That I don't want to see that ever again. I want to have a system that is neutral, and it's like a box that you put your stuff, and if the leader wants to fight, it is actually fighting against a software, not a person, because we did suffer a lot from that kind of stuff when we have a staff and a leader that's fighting, you know?
They're not fighting, they're talking.
Well, okay. Yeah, they're talking, and talking on a global scale, when you are overworked, will probably lead to some kind of stuff that we don't want to, and we did suffer from that. And so that's why I like the Salesforce system, because it's a neutral thing, and if we make a decision on, let's say, having a link with the meetup and all that kind of stuff, or with that we can see the metric of the email and stuff, this is not like a direct contact, because on the global organization, they actually have already too much email to answer. And so what you are actually saying right now is that we will actually tell them really to spam everyone and get much more email and try to follow that, and this is having work. And right now we won't have the staff until like maybe 6 months to do so.
Yeah, but I don't like the Salesforce system. So
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Well, it's any system that will work, but have you seen what they did with it? Like the new system and how it's working? Because I haven't, but I spoke with Kate a lot about it at last chapter sessions, and it was the answer for the staff, you know?
I looked at it for some stuff about the next year's conference, and it's not working for me. For call papers or for the speakers.
Okay, yeah.
That's what I looked at, and it's not working for me.
Okay, and so it's just the color paper side of it, because this is not much more like the chapter management, so it's
Yeah, but
something else, right?
that's my impression of Salesforce, but I encountered it in the Boston.
Maybe we should put more leader that works
And
with
that always proves, always Hangouts, always groups, always this or that. It's like, I get fed up because I always like, try this, oh man, we can just try this one, oh, try this one, is also new. Like, what do you want me to do? After I was Wiki, I have to always link into the Netherlands, and it's like, you want me to do those 3 as well?
Yeah.
Like,
But what if we tell you, I'm sorry you don't like Salesforce, but that's the only thing you have to use? Because this will probably be it, because right now we are saying to people, I'm sorry, but the wiki is the only tool you have to use.
No,
And
we
we
don't.
see that the chapters don't do that, they just go on to Meetup and all that kind of stuff. And so you can't really force people there because they will just go away. You know?
Even if you do it in a different way, just make sure you have a bit of visibility. Have to prove.
Yeah,
Have the agenda published
Yeah.
somewhere. It doesn't matter, it's your Facebook page,
Yeah.
doesn't matter, but have to lead to that
Yeah.
agenda.
Exactly, yeah.
And the requirement for OWASP events is get those presentations, because some other people will be interested.
Yes.
If we just have a verbal conversation about OWASP, everything is presented, but no material is actually not there and stored by OWASP, how can you reuse that? How do we even know what chapter to discuss and if it's that relevant to you or not?
Yeah.
I'm publishing all the material. Everyone is free to use, reuse, and abuse that material in good context.
But the thing is like the bigger chapters, they don't care as much with the like global kind of stuff, because there are enough people. Well, they have enough thing on their plates. Like in New York, they have a CFP, and they refuse speakers, and we're like, what? In Montreal, we have to run all over the place to find someone to talk, you know? But on their side, they are like busy with other stuff. So it's really like the bigger chapters doesn't have the same problem as the smaller one, you know?
Interesting. We might actually have a pool of rejected CFDs from one place and made them available for other chapters.
Yeah.
They might want to engage.
But yeah, but geographically, if it's rejected
but
from
if you
Europe,
talk
if you're
about-
in Europe, it's like,
If you
yeah.
talk about the hackup, it doesn't matter where you go.
Yeah.
So we should use this opportunity to actually build the pool of presenters, potential presenters, which might be available.
Will that will be on the next platform, like the Salesforce, like a list of the speakers and where did they attend or something? Do you know if this is planned on the next system?
I don't, actually. That's a good question. It's certainly something we could use it for, but as Martin was saying, I think one of the biggest problems we have is getting everybody over to one platform.
Yeah.
I mean, if we can't even get everybody to agree on, to use the wiki, which I understand is a pain in the neck. I have to use the wiki for B-sides as well, and it's not intuitive. It's horrible, but I have to because it's part of the process. But if I can't even get people to use the wiki for OWASP, how are we going to get them all to sign on to Salesforce?
Yeah.
You know?
You have to give them like maybe something like a candy. If they are using Salesforce, then they will get this in return. And if they really need it, then they will use it. It's much more like not forcing, but like the people that use the proposed platform will have a bonus that they wouldn't get like otherwise. So this might work.
But again, it's like you see in big organizations. The strategy is being changed probably too often. This year is this product, it was Eventbrite, it was Event, it was whatever. Every year it's changing.
Right.
Probably for good reasons. But if there is no kind of long-term stability, you don't know what to expect. So this year is Salesforce, what's next?
Yeah.
Can anyone confirm Salesforce is the way to go for the next 3 years? And then you can make a plan and push everyone to it. Or you push madly for everyone to jump with Salesforce, on board with Salesforce,
And then
next year
bottoms
change.
out. Right. Well, Salesforce gave us, apparently they gave us a certain number of accounts for free. So
But nobody else wants to use it.
I know.
Pretty much.
Honestly, I don't like it myself. I was supposed to use it to organize the volunteers, but even just trying to build out the volunteerships and member nation through Salesforce, it was an absolute wreck. It's don't get me started. I can't stand it, but it's what I'm given and I'm told I need to work within its parameters.
Yeah.
But I can't, I
But
hate
the mailing list management, the newsletters management, the members management, that I learned from Kay that this was doing the thing that they need, you know.
Oh no, absolutely. From that standpoint, it's great for the internal, for the staff.
Yeah.
But I don't understand. I see why it would be such a big problem for the community.
Yeah.
Because the community is so
Well,
large.
the
it's
problem
a lot.
is that with OWASP, we all have an opinion, and this doesn't scale on like when you centralize stuff. I have this with like the YouTube channel. There's a bunch of people that say, me, I'm on Vimeo, I'm on another. I say, okay, well, fine, well, good luck. Because if you try to centralize something and you take the opinion of everyone, you will never get there, you know. And so you must say, well,
Tell other people's opinion.
yeah, no, but your opinion are good if it's in application security and it's for a debate. But at some point, or on a organizational point of view, I think that you have to make a decision somewhere, and many people will be unhappy about it. But if most of the people just use it and say, well, it does the job, then it was a good decision. And I think that that's what happened with OWASP Global when they say we want to use the Salesforce, because they probably do like exactly what we do right now each 3 years. There's a guy that proposed something, and then there's another guy that don't like it, and then they discuss, and they just go nowhere, because it's not like having a discussion on application security and why we should do that. It's really implementing something. So it's totally like another side of OWASP that we tend really to treat as it was like a project, but actually it's not a project, it's infrastructure.
Yes.
It's not the same thing.
Yeah,
And I'm saying that I have a
infrastructure-
project that is infrastructure, but my project really shouldn't be a project.
Yeah, the administrative side of things really needs to be across, it needs to be smooth.
Mhm.
We need to not be changing it every couple of years, because it is confusing for everybody.
Yeah.
Then what?
Well, the wiki is there for a long time, I think, right?
Right.
Do we need to refresh the wiki? Are people getting frustrated because it's too nasty to create pages and to maintain them, or should we make it easier to create the resources?
Well, it's still a wiki, so we have templates, but what can you do more?
Oh, it's kind of probably old. It's 2, 3 years, 4 years old. Is there anything better than that, or do we have to make a refresh of the technology we use?
Oh,
Can you use a
no,
wiki?
I mean, with the
Something
wiki,
a bit
it's
more.
we can use like Jira and all that stuff with Confluence, but it will still be a wiki, will still have the same limitation. And
Yeah, but it's kind of a lot of manual editing. And
yeah, that's why we have the Salesforce platform, because the Salesforce platform is supposed to be like a database with fields and stuff.
So that's the trick. You put something on a closed source type thing.
Yeah,
You don't have control of that unless you start paying. And at some point, these guys will ask, fine guys, you got too many accounts and you have to start paying.
yeah. Well, this we have a contract. So,
Yeah, we have a contract for so many accounts. And,
The thing will increase if the usage of
oh, we're paying for it. It's not all free. I mean, they gave us so many accounts, we've already exceeded that. Every single time we have to upgrade something or have them change something in their database to match what we need out of their system, it costs us. We have to pay their programmers to fix things and change things, and it's because it's not open source.
Is it
It's
even possible to
proprietary.
teach Wiki the way it is today and is controlled by OWASP and to move everything on Salesforce for managing all this chapter activity and everything? How much would cost us pretty much to do that, to replace Wiki entirely?
I don't know. I have no idea.
And
But I know we're trying to switch off of the wiki that we're using over to MediaWiki though,
yeah.
which is a little bit more intuitive and it has a cleaner interface.
Yeah.
But it's taking some time to get everything migrated, is the issue.
Wait, I thought this was me.
Oh.
This one is MediaWiki. It's just a version that
okay.
been up to date. And I don't remember if it went live, but I do remember it did some tests not so long ago, like in the past year. So, but then again, it comes at the same point as we have with project. OWASP really should provide a platform, and then the leaders will use that platform. If we take the opinion of every leader, we'll get nowhere. I'm sorry, but like I'm here since
That's true.
2 or 3 years, and I don't see nothing that goes like upfront instead of the decision that actually people don't care about the others. And leaders by themselves do that. They like if they have to cross by the rules in order to achieve, like let's say doing a meeting and having custom meeting, they will do so, and they're probably right about it because the goal of OWASP is to make application security possible. So as long as you are doing something that works, you are not in the wrong.
There's a contradiction in that.
Yes.
Yes, you say you will be better, but as long as you do good, you do nothing wrong.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you should provide like incentive, bonus to people that actually follow the rules, and this would probably help the smaller chapters because the smaller chapters will say, I don't know where to start, so they will follow the rule, and then they will get something,
Maybe it's a good question. How do you define a smaller chapter?
It's a chapter that has like one leader and basically no meetings. And a big
Smaller chapters than active chapters.
Well, it's not inactive.
Or it's just a chapter which started always.
Yeah, or rebooted, because many of the chapters, they are actually like rebooted and stuff. And we have one in Quebec City that was like that. And they tried to reboot it for maybe 1 year or 2, but they didn't have like that much platform, and they finally did it by chance after 2 years of trying. So.
I think OWASP is open, and we are a non-profit organization. We have started something different, but the initiative of volunteers is based on what you can do. And I am more like enabling than ruling. So instead of saying you have to do this, you have to do that.
No, it's a platform. It's not like rules. It's like a framework,
Yeah, but you said you have to tell the leaders you have to use this. That's not a platform. That's ruling.
Well, we already have that. The chapter handbooks, it states that you have to do stuff and people don't do it. So yes, I'm saying really something that is contradictory because we are dealing with humans. But if you state it, you will have more people that will follow it, you know. And there will always be like a bunch of people that won't follow the rule, but you will probably have the majority that do so if the rules make sense, right?
That's always true. But I think the way, maybe it's the different in language, but I think you say more like that's the way you're doing it. If you're not doing it, you're doing it wrong. That's how it's. How I.
Well, it's from the requirements of what we need with OWASP Global, yes, because the chapter handbook says that you are doing it wrong if you don't put the Google Calendar event and the event in the wiki. It states that you must do that. So we have to make a decision now,
Right.
like on what you are gonna make like obligatory, or maybe with an incentive. It's like you will have access to more stuff if you do that way. But then again, how you manage like the people that have users if you don't have any rules, right? Like, you know, the minimum meetings that you must have by a year, that's a metric that you can measure and say, okay, it's not enough, or like something like that. So.
I believe the chapter handbook says 2 meetings a year. That's
Yes,
only
we
once
can.
every 6 months. I mean, that's minimum, right? That's nothing.
Try to find speakers, then you see how much.
Well, why do you have speakers? Why can't you just do lightning talks?
Yeah.
Why can't you just have a meeting? Just have a lunch.
Very easy because then it will not show up with those speakers.
Yeah, exactly.
Get a sponsor and give them beer, and then they will show up, right?
No, I even said free beer, free meat,
Yeah.
I barbecue. 3 colleagues might show up, nobody else.
Okay, so nobody showed up, but you still held a meeting, so you're
Yeah,
still
exactly.
making your.
There was back then, now I have a chapter meetings, 2 speakers, free pizza, whatever the sponsor.
Yeah.
Then they show up, when I have an agenda and I have speakers, then Netherlands will not show up if I don't have speakers.
Okay.
Exactly. People are coming for
Yeah.
knowledge, not for socializing.
Yeah.
But still, you can make an event. Let's say we did that in Montreal. We can make an event that
Yeah,
is
I can
not.
make an event, but I won't make a successful event. Now I have 50 people coming to my event. I try to do 6, but I do also my lux day, was I had 200 people last time. I do a chapter meeting, average between 20 and 30 up to 1,500, depending on the speakers. I do my best to get 4 or 5, plus the lux event, was once in 3 years in the Netherlands, 1 year in Luxembourg, 1 year in Belgium. So I don't meet the 6 chapter meetings. I have 4 when I'm lucky. But these are very 4 high quality meetings.
But you are meeting the minimum requirements, right? The thing we are saying is that if you don't, you can try to make those kind of events for you to see
Yeah, but
what works or not in your area.
Those kind of events is very cultural different.
Yeah.
Because in Netherlands, I cannot make a meeting another day than Thursday. We tried Tuesday once, such because nobody likes it on Tuesday. So it's very cultural what you're doing. In Germany, they chose for only 1 chapter and they have Stammtisch, but it's very typical German, have a beer and drink and talk about security. That works only in Germany. You cannot, it's very hard to make a rule or define what you have to do over cultural borders. I know that maybe it's different between America, where the community in all of America is more the same. But in Europe, it's quite different if you talk about Romania, if you talk about Poland or Germany. It's a very big cultural difference. Even between North and South Germany, it's a big cultural difference. So it's not like all Europe is the same. It's not very, it's not the same as saying
But that's why we say event and we don't say like make like a meeting that does that event. It's like it's supposed to be 2 events per year. So
I would say if people possibly a speaker internally flow in by some budget.
yeah,
Because
Right, but-
every interesting speaker is the best thing to promote others.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm not arguing that, but if you can't get a speaker, so long as you have 2 meetings a year, then you're still an active chapter and there's no chance of getting your membership pulled, right? So for 1 meeting you have a speaker, the other meeting you weren't able to find a speaker, but at least you hold a meeting. You say, okay, we're gonna have it at this time, at this place. If nobody shows up but you, at least you were there and you held a meeting. It still counts.
yeah, and you can actually gather people that will help you to organize a chapter. I think in Quebec City that's what happened, because we made like a Quebec-wide meeting, and then they jumped in and people listened to that, and then they just rebooted the chapter that way, because we made something that wasn't really a talk, but that gave place to people that wanted to contribute. So, but for a chapter that already is running, this doesn't make sense, and I'm agreeing with Martin on that 100%. But ready for a chapter that are rebooting or are actually starting, this is like a thing to consider. And we probably should have like a default like slide deck that says, learn that slide deck, we will provide you help, and this is a default WASP presentation. If you have no and you are the chapter leader, well, you are the presenter, you know. That we can do. I did it in Montreal. If we have no, like, if speaker, like, in a given month, I have a talk that I can do, and I just get it and put it, and then we're done with the meeting, you know.
And then you're giving a meeting for the sake of giving a meeting.
No, it's a presentation, but it's not an external speaker. It's one of the chapter leaders or the chapter contributors that does it. But yes, you can have a meeting that is an organizational meeting that is open, and that way you will attract people. That's what we did in Montreal.
I mean, a lot of this could be partners. If you can have various partnerships. I mean, I'm in it's a unique situation that I'm also an employee of the university.
Mm-hmm.
So I can, worst case scenario, I can put in a research student on a security-related issue. Because we've had plenty of times where we've had two speakers, one's dropped out. But we've also done a lot of it's cross-fertilisation in terms of this year we've partnered, we've had sponsors provide the speakers at no cost for that. They've paid their food, but that's all
good, yeah.
We've teamed up with other similar bodies, with the East Anglia branch of the IOSP, for example, and I'm going to another event of theirs next week. So we're doing a lot of, and that's brought in more people, crossed both organisations with new thoughts, new themes. Probably do something with the University of Cambridge next year as well. So the more you can bring other people in, and that boosts your attendance numbers.
Yeah.
I'm biased, I tend to do it during term times, I guess, because I get one of the students in. But we also get a cross-section of Cambridge community, and we also link in British Computer Society and various other people that are security, not just AppSec, it's also wider InfoSec type stuff, but we do try and open out a bit broader.
I have a question. Not sure how we can put this in a really clear form, but can OWASP be part of a larger conference so we can have like a talk, for example, a 30-minute talk. The presenter of OWASP does a 30-minute talk as part of a larger conference. Would that be something that's totally acceptable? Would it make sense?
So
basically, there's a conference hosted by, let's say, I don't know, maybe a government agency.
And OWASP does a presentation there, or you do a presentation on behalf of OWASP at that conference?
Basically,
yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay.
But like that was one of the arguments they were having. We were not arguments. That was part of what they had brought up earlier was getting permission.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, getting a hold of the foundation, saying, "Hey, I've been asked to present. Are you okay with the group that I'm going to be presenting to make sure that there's no conflict of interest or anything along those lines?" But then, I mean, so long as it's done far enough in advance, it's no big deal for you to hit up the foundation and say, "Hey, is this cool?" But in the case of they're talking about, I was asked last week to present this week, and I didn't get an answer back, and I'm just going to do it. And I totally understand that too.
Yeah, it's really if you have a contract or like not money involved, but there's really a clear contract on something very like official, then you must ask OWASP Global, because if it's really like dealing with sponsorship or they are using, let's say, the OWASP brand, they want to use the OWASP brand like proeminent in
In
like
the
the
literature.
front page or their stuff, then you might ask. But if the OWASP logo is at the bottom or something, and you are good with it, then you can do. Here in Montreal, we blocked a guy that was like really taking out the logo of the organization, and he was pushing like a vendor, you know, in order to do something. And I just said, I can't be there, and no, you can't use a logo if I'm not there willing to talk. So you have to be protective on that. But other than that, you as a speaker is free as anyone else, you know.
I'm gonna call a 5-minute break. All right? You guys want to grab some water or something? We need to.
Do you know if there are people that actually got
No.
online?
I have one person. I have 2 viewers. One is Martin, and the other is Sandeep.
Okay.
That's the only people that I see on the Hangout.
Great. Yeah, Martin, maybe we should talk about that give, like people giving opinions, like and whatnot, as total definition.
Sorry?
Like maybe we should talk privately about like people that are giving opinions and the way it's actually affect on a centralized scale, because it's fine with when it's an open discussion, but if everything in your life is an open discussion, you will probably not get far, and the people that does go far is the people that ignores the other. And me, I'm not ignoring people, but I'm saying that at some point I just do stuff and don't ask for like.
That's what I said, what I do.
Yeah.
I do. But I do OWASP leadership for quite some years now and do it months myself. But what I get fed of is when I got much bureaucracy holding me back. That's what I said. They are like, no, we have abusers. Yes, but maybe there's so few cases of abuse.
Yeah.
They've seen all the good things going on. So you punch everybody who's doing
Yeah.
good,
But
and the chance of going bad.
You are talking about the thing that we must ask OWASP Global on everything we do, and that I will agree that it's way too much.
Yeah.
But it's when we have a contract and then there's like money involved, then I will agree, you know?
Yes, but you have to sell us some money. We should enable people to say, okay, you're a professional, you made money, you use $500. Hey, what the heck? As long as afterwards you can justify, hey, I used $500 for this reason.
Oh, yeah.
And then I have not to sign for every $20. But, oh, I want to have 10 rockets, can I have that, please? Please? Yeah, I have to
Yeah, but,
Somebody say,
What?
I say, no.
This is supposed to be going until 12:50 for lunch, so,
It's not cool. You said that in the
yeah.
Yeah, I want to have a fresh air break.
Oh, can I go with you?
So,
I've had a cigarette.
everybody may stay here?
I'll stay.
Can I trust you?
Yeah.
Where you from? What's your name? Let's get a couple of days. Actually, I spoke to Clemens, and he, before East Europe went open, he had friends in Romania. He has been there 4 times. Every time he has a full body check. I said, why did you go back after the first time? I wouldn't do that.
Maybe he likes body checks.
Sir?
Maybe he likes body checks.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess. Looking images now.
Maybe, you don't know, right?
Yeah.
What do you know? Yeah, I'm not sorry. I'm gonna find somebody. I'll one off them. Yeah, I don't really think we have to worry about the room. Nobody's wandered down this hallway for Friday.
was quick.
I'm a quick smoker. Been running events too long. You never actually get time to go have a cigarette. You just gotta kind of suck it down.
Yeah.
I guess the Q&A is not working. Either that or nobody's asked anything.
Is there anybody else?
Yeah. Sandeep is on from the Delhi chapter.
Oh,
He's one of the new organizers. We just reassigned the chapter to a new group because the chapter organizer has been kind of busy traveling the world and doing other things for the past year or so, and the chapter hasn't been active. Like they do an event, but that's not.
it's not really an event.
Yeah, well, it is an event, and it's a good event. They do a really good event in India, but it's not what OWASP is about, right? Doing one day event is not what they're supposed to be doing. They're supposed to be doing meetings at least once every 6 months. So the new team that's taken over is going to be doing that.
Hi there.
Come back.
Sorry?
I used your program.
Oh, thank
That's okay. I sent it to you.
And you think I'm going to send as mine?
Yeah, of course. I know your password and everything.
I don't have a password. How do you know that? Can you please tell me? What is it?
Wait, you have a password?
I have one. I still remember. I'm really bad with names and faces. But I'm really good with old passwords. So when I have friends, when I set up the wiki, I call them like 3 years later, do you know what wiki password? I remember. I don't know how they call, how they look, but I'm not easy to wear their passwords. That's weird.
Sometimes I don't know my password, but I actually type it. I know how to type it. But if you ask me what is my password, I can't answer. It's like, get me a keyboard, I'll type it, and then...
Oh, yeah. My brother lives in Germany, and I never used German keyboards. They're really odd. I only use. Sorry?
It's the Roman alphabet, right?
No, they have no QWERTY. They have QWERTs. So the I is set this other way in the sides, and the always dots and stuff like that. So when I'm usually not everybody has a laptop. I use the Wi-Fi. So I just changed the keyboards. I think at one time I forgot to reset it and set it back to German. So I left, it wasn't covered. I got a call like, what do you do with the computer? The keys are all mixed up. Oh, shoot. And because they're not in IT, they're plumbing and stuff like that. So then I had to tell them driving how to reset the keyboard. They thought it would be a virus. No. Sorry. I'm guilty.
A few years ago, there was no standard for Arabic keywords. So one company would do certain structure for the keyboards, and then another company would do another structure, and every time you get confused. It's like you learn all the positions of the keyboard, and then you go to the other computer, they're different. Like, okay,
That's frustrating.
this is wasting my time.
So I did just confirm that the Q&A is working. I asked myself, is this thing on? And it popped up, so
Should answer your question.
yeah.
Anybody going to the river hunting?
Hunting tomorrow?
Yeah.
No, I'll already be up in Manchester.
I'm going to Manchester.
Huh?
I'm going to Manchester
When?
tomorrow.
Oh, for B-sides?
No.
No. I'm going up there for B-sides Manchester.
Oh, I know that you.
Yep. This is the first year. It's tomorrow and Saturday.
Taking the train.
Yeah, I was looking at that. Looks like I have to take the train back down to London and then to Manchester.
Yes, that's what it is. Which really isn't that, what's the word? Efficient.
I love these water bottles. Should be just in the glass. Set a bottle of water. So I was happy that Adrian joined us for a moment, although,
Yeah, but I think he has organizing problems.
oh, is he?
Yeah, stuff to do.
Oh, yeah.
Problems.
You know,
There's no.
No signal, it's crap.
no, none.
I think they have something in the building, because if I just leave the building, everything is fine.
Yeah, it's bad students.
I can get signal on the ground floor, but not here.
The other room is pretty good, 112, 103. I had very good signal there. For some reason, they block Jabber here on the wireless.
Yeah, and it's
There's no much to suggest.
Kate was going to join us. I think something must have come up on her end. Yeah, she's not online.
She didn't come to the conference, right?
No, she didn't come. Thank you so much for all the time that you put in volunteering downstairs. It was. Did you have fun though?
Yes.
Yeah.
you said no.
No, I said yes.
She said yes.
Then you said thank you. You said no.
No, no, I said welcome.
Sorry. I was like, wow, all competitions. I shouldn't do two things to say at the same time. I know.
I think that's one of the things that we're discussing is for, I don't know if you're going to do this for AppSecEU next year, Martin, but apparently what they did in the US, which worked really well, is because the chapter leaders get in for free, they had to donate at least 4 hours to volunteer to help with the conference.
They have the same here, but leaders are for free.
Yes, but they didn't make them volunteer.
Yeah. I have a lot of student volunteers, so I think I use those because I have not much to do as here. So I have 3 universities, maybe 5, and I will have students, so then I track students to the conference.
Okay.
I
That's
only
good.
need them for very few for the rooms, so there's the 2 students minding the rooms, minding the speakers. I have 1 room where people can break out if they have to do some work. So the volunteers will be mainly in the registration, backpacking, stuff like that. And I've heard, yeah, I won't have students there, so they've been involved.
Yeah, I think this all worked out. I mean, I built out the shifts and none of them got filled. the jobs all got done anyway.
So,
The volunteerships that I built out for this conference,
yeah.
most of them never got filled,
Uh,
but everything still got covered.
It's always,
Right? It is. Oh, we have one more of the chapter leaders from Delhi. Has just joined us. So I suppose we're back. We've only got about 20 minutes left in this session before we break for lunch anyway. Anything else you guys want to discuss?
we had an initiative that experienced chapter leaders would mentor less experienced chapter leaders. Somehow, unfortunately, it's never went through. That was a great idea by Saber, but I don't know why this didn't happen.
Who's spearheading that initiative?
Saber proposed it. Was in the design.
Yeah, right? Yeah, no, I know Seba.
Sorry?
I know Seba from BrewCon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same guy. So that was really a great idea, but I don't know why it didn't.
It never took off.
Yeah.
Who from the foundation side was supposed to be helping with that? Ah. Okay.
I also thought it would be a good idea. But I know that even Europe has new legal entity, what's for the fact it's easier for invoicing. And I know that our staff sometimes forgets to mention this to conferences that are organized. So we have European conferences, and they go via the American payment. What's really paid about for European chapters.
I could use something like that.
Sorry?
I could use something like that.
The mentorship program for new chapters.
Should I mention you?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, please invite me over. And, I have to ask my wife that. That's. So, should I say it? I didn't say nothing. That's this rule. I heard once that Alice Mondrian, she always, how call it, when you go, like lady does like this. How do you say that?
It's courtesy? Courtesy.
Yeah, that she does that. Only she has 2 seconds to think about the answer. Maybe I should do that like that, because I answer first and think, oh shoot. It sounds different in my head.
calendar for the meetings and events?
At the bottom of the OWASP main page. Here. These are the types of questions that I was expecting they can help you. So when you started your chapter, you were given access to the Google Calendar. The bottom
Please sign up.
yeah.
Oh, oops.
It gives you access to the calendar so you can have your event.
Great, thanks.
Yeah. Oh, we lost Leandra.
Sorry?
Leandra was with us for a moment
Yeah.
and just left because we're not doing anything, and I get that. Hey, Sandeep, I think we're probably going to be finished here. None of the other chapter leaders that are in the room have any questions, unless you do, in which case please enter them either in the chat window or in the Q&A window off the Google Plus page so I can answer them for you, or I can pose them to the other chapter leaders and they can provide you an answer with what they know, what they've experienced. Otherwise, I think we're going to wrap this up early. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. The three of you don't seem so enthused.
Yeah,
Sorry, I have to prepare my promoter OWASP
Oh,
thing.
I'll ask one question.
oh, sure.
Do you guys have any feedback on OWASP in general and in our region? So basically, in the Middle East, what's your impression about the activities of OWASP? If there is any.
I think OWASP in the Middle East is relatively new. Yeah, I don't think we've had any chapters there that are more than 2 years old.
Okay.
I don't really know what kind of attendance the meetings over there get. I do know that we just had. Hold on 1 second. I'll pull it up. So I want to make sure I get this right. Oops. No, that's right.
One of the reasons I'm asking is before coming here, I actually emailed a bunch of them of the OWASP leaders in nearby. Maybe only 2 responded. The others didn't even respond to my email.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not complaining about them or anything.
No, no, it's okay.
That was kind of the vibe I got was they're not really that active. Maybe you guys might have a different impression.
Yeah, yeah, we have two. We have a chapter in Qatar. We have 2 chapters now in Abu Dhabi, in UAE.
Yeah, those are active. They actually respond.
They did? Okay. I don't know about the Saudi Arabia chapters, how active they are. Do you know, Martin? Do you hear from them often? Saudi Arabia?
No. No, that's too far. I had from Northern Africa and Egypt.
Okay.
That's about the closest I get. Nigeria, Algeria.
Algeria.
Yeah, they have the student chapter.
Oh, okay.
They are pretty active. So,
They're pretty active.
yeah.
Okay.
Has been active, but the student chapter has not been supported by that staff. So I'm the membership committee back then. So,
Okay.
but there's when you look where they move from student chapters, Algeria, or what's close to you? Algeria or Egypt?
Egypt.
Egypt.
Algeria. Algeria is too far. It's like really far. It's
Yeah.
almost it's like coming here.
Right?
It's like coming. It's like
Yeah, come on, you said.
it's like maybe well, further than further than the, or maybe the same distance to
Yeah.
go back there.
Yeah, better to locate where you come from Algeria, to be honest.
Oh, where I come from?
It's easy for me to locate on the map than Algeria.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know why. Oh, there. I was completely off. Yeah, that's. Where did I mix this from? Those things. Yeah, real world Bible stuff like that.
Okay, I'm good. That was my question.
Okay. I have posted that we're closing the workshop, and I'm stopping the broadcast.